Hey there, hello and welcome. It's Madeline here, and tonight I want to talk to you about pushing through. Okay, so this is something that I have been guilty of, and it came up with one of my colleagues today. I'm in a mastermind. I'm in a few masterminds actually, but this one in particular, one of my colleagues said to me that he's having a hard time and that he's having these challenges in his business. And when I offered to help him, he said, you know what, I appreciate that, Madeline, but I'm going to pass because if I start talking about it, I might just cry. So, and I found that that was interesting. So I didn't leave it at that. I extended my offer again, and I hope that he'll take me up on it because he's creating baggage, right? If he doesn't address the emotions, the frustration that he's feeling around what's going on in his business, he's going to create emotional baggage, and it's actually going to be worse for him. And so he's being, he's being challenged. He's got these systems that he's trying to set up in his business, and he's followed the instructions and the strategy to get it to work, and he's having technical difficulties, and it's just not working, and it's taking longer than he thought it was. Anyone who has set up systems knows that it can be a challenge to implement new systems. I remember being close to tears, if not in tears, when I was in corporate and implementing new systems. But what I want to get at is that, he doesn't want to talk about it because he's afraid of breaking down, right? Of breaking down in tears, right? And for a man, that's even worse than a woman, right? So we lady boss babes don't want to be crying at work or about work. So I would imagine it's even worse for men. But the key is, although I know that men are doing the inner work, and we know that, I think that the whole world is realizing that getting in touch with our emotions is healthy, and learning how to navigate our emotions, which is what I really want to talk to you about today, is how to take your game to the next level, right? Is learning how to navigate those emotions. But what so many of us do is push them down, don't we? Especially those negative emotions: anger, sadness, frustration, hurt, guilt. We push them all down in a way because, that's what the strong do. The strong can handle things and they don't show emotion. And in our masculine society, we just push through, right? We just push through, keep going, keep pushing, and eventually we'll get it done, right? And I have been guilty of this myself. I was the queen of pushing through in my old life, and that got me a nervous breakdown and in very poor physical and mental health. So when I heard when my colleague texted me and said, you know what, I don't want to talk about it because I'm just going to break down and that's going to make me feel worse, I was heartbroken by that for a couple of reasons. One, because he's feeling so badly and having such a hard time. And two, I know that if he doesn't deal with those emotions, he's going to cause emotional baggage, which is going to stay in his way, okay? So what do I mean by that, right? So right now he's feeling frustrated, aggravated. He's probably fearful that that this new implementation is going to fail, and all the money that he's already put into it and any future profit that he would have anticipated from it is going to go by the wayside, right? And that he's going to lose more money and that he's going to be, like a failure, right? So a couple things about that and why pushing through is not the answer. Okay, so pushing the emotions down and just pushing through is not the way to go because just think of your emotions like a beach ball, right? Think about you're at the pool or at the ocean and you've got this big beach ball, or you've got this little beach ball, right? And that you try to put it under the water. Well, it'll go under there, right? It'll go under, but it won't stay under, right? Because eventually the pressure is going to make it pop back up, right? So just consider that scenario and that you'll push it under, right? And then you can hold it down there for a while, but in life, right, you're going to throw, if you're just pushing through and you're not dealing with your emotions in a healthy and productive way, then you're going to pile on more emotions. Your ball's going to get bigger. It's going to start to rise up to the surface. Something else happens. You're just going to push through. You're not going to feel the emotions. You're going to pile more on. Your ball gets bigger. And sooner or later, what happens? You're just not going to be able to keep that ball underwater because the pressure is eventually going to blow up, right? So that's what I mean when I talk about emotional baggage. So clearly my friend and colleague already has emotional baggage, right? Because he's so frustrated with the situation that he's afraid to talk about it with his colleagues for fear of breaking down. Okay, breaking down in tears or breaking down in emotion. So therein lies the problem, right? You can push, you can push, you can push. Again, as I mentioned, I manifested great success in my corporate life with that pushing strategy. But again, I ended up falling apart with having a nervous breakdown and being in poor physical and mental health as a result. So, but now what I know is that in order to successfully be able to navigate your challenges, right, we need to face the emotions that come up for us, right? We need to learn how to identify, process, and navigate our emotions in a healthy manner. And we do that by actually what I suggested to my friend and colleague was you need to feel the emotions. So I told him, cry, right? Like if you're feeling that much emotion, feel the emotion, okay? Feel the emotion, because if you don't, it's going to get in your way, and it's actually going to prohibit you from making progress in the area of life, in this case, his business, that you want to make, right? Because when you've got emotional baggage, right? When you've got emotional baggage, it's in your way, right? It actually builds a physiological wall in your body and in your mind, right? This is where anxiety comes from. This is where depression comes from. This is where rage comes from, right? Because you've got all of these negative emotions that we just keep pushing down, pushing down, pushing down, and then they blow up at inopportune moments. So in my colleague's case, they're getting in the way of his making progress because he's unable to process them, right? So when he's just pushing through, and he might get there, right? He'll get there eventually with the pushing through, but it's going to hurt. And at what cost, right? And I dare say he will not be as successful or as effective as he would be if he would deal with his emotional baggage, right? Release it, and then move forward, right? And then move forward in the direction of what he needs to do in order to be successful. So this is not unlike what I went through, right? I explained that in recent weeks, I was having this block in my business, and for me, it was fear, and it was getting in my way. So I went to see my teacher so I could release the baggage, so I could release my baggage, which I did successfully. And now I'm able to move forward more effectively in the direction of my dreams and my goals. And I can be effective and energetic because I don't have any baggage. I don't have any baggage around it, right? So if you've got baggage around it, again, it's getting in your way. It's this physical resistance that keeps you from getting stuck, spinning your wheels, not able to process information quickly and effectively. It's where overwhelm comes from. And then life is just hard. Life is just hard, and you're not as effective as you could be. So I know if you're hanging out with me, you're probably pretty effective. You're a type A, you're a high performer, and you get the job done, but at what expense, right? At what expense? At the expense of your health, your emotions, your well-being, your peace of mind, right? So dare I say, like, my colleague doesn't have peace of mind right now because he's spinning his wheels and he's really stressed out about the state of this system implementation. Whereas I'm going to insist that I help him with the letting go of the negative emotions, and then we'll be able to get him on the other side of that, and then, you know, moving in a productive and effective manner in the direction of his goals. So what I want to ask you today is, does this sound familiar to you? Do you push through? Do you think that showing emotions is a weakness, right? So, and I get that we can't be crying at work, and we can't be, you know, blowing up in a professional situation, but what we can do is at a later time evaluate the situation, go into the situation in our minds, and actually feel the emotions and learn from the emotions and the situation. Because what the unconscious mind wants is to learn from the situation. So that's one way to navigate your emotions in a healthy manner, right? Which is after the fact, consider the situation, right? Consciously feel the situation, right? Go back into the situation, associate to it, feel all the necessary emotions. If there are tears, cry, right? If there's anger, scream into your pillow, or, you know, punch a punching bag. One of my clients has this punching bag that hangs somewhere in her home, and really feel the emotions, and then look back on the situation and journal about what there is to learn from the situation, because your unconscious mind wants the learning in order to let go of the negative emotions and allow you to move forward without carrying that negative emotion with you. Okay, so that's one way to navigate emotions in the moment. But, right, so if you've got emotional baggage, right, because if you're like most people, you have been pushing down your emotions for a lifetime, then you need to let that stuff go, right? And if you know that your emotional baggage, right, trauma, turmoil, inner conflict is holding you back, and you need help with letting that stuff go so you can have a clean slate to move forward, I invite you to book a free breakthrough call with me. Okay, we'll get on the phone for about an hour. We'll look at what's going on with you, what's not working in your life, how you would like it to be, and if I can show you how to get there, I will. If I can help you get there, I will show you how. And you do that by booking your complimentary breakthrough call at madelinecorrea.com/talk. And I'll put the link in the comments below. So again, are you pushing through? How's that working out for you? Not so good. I'm sure you've had success. I had a lot of success in my old life pushing through, but it was at the cost of my physical and mental well-being, and then eventually I just fell apart. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have fun and enjoy life. And that's what happens, right? So that's what happens when you let that shit go, when you're able to let go of your emotional baggage, clean the slate, right? You can clean the slate up until now, and then it's like a fog has lifted, and you can move forward in the direction of your goals, your dreams, and desires, and know that you're going to have success, okay? So if you'd like to talk to me about how to do that, go to madelinecorrea.com/talk, and I will look forward to talking with you soon, okay? I hope this video served you. I will look forward to talking with you again soon, and until then, I will see you in the gap. Namaste. Be blessed.